What is up, traders? Welcome back to our YouTube channel here at TRADEPRO Academy, and we're excited to be doing a video like this. We haven't had a specific topic in a while. We've been focused on streaming, and in today's video, we're going to be focused on how to achieve that profitability you want in 2025. If you click this video, you're most likely not where you want to be, and you want to increase your profitability as a trader or just get across that line, that break-even line or that loss line. So I'm going to be talking about 3 concise tips today. I'm going to show you some information on the screen as well in terms of increasing your profitability and actually making that stride into 2025. These are a lot of things that I've learned throughout years and years and have helped me and helped other traders as well. So I don't want to drag this on. I want to just get into this intro and we'll take a look at these 3 things right now. Number 1, what I think the biggest demon that traders have and they don't want to face on is that they trade their P&L. Trading your P&L as a trader is one of the most obscene things. I understand that we're here to make money. We want the green numbers to increase on the screen. But I think that this takes away drastically from your focus on what you actually should be focused on. That's risk management and trading your strategy. So looking at that green or red number really poses a threat to that, because you see a little red, you're like, oh my God, I got to get this back. And you start clicking. You see some green, but you don't like the green. You want more green, then the same thing happens. You're chasing the P&L. You're trading the P&L rather than putting focus and energy into your strategy or system. So one of the easiest things to do, honestly, is remove that P&L. Here on my main screen, I don't have any P&L sticking out anywhere. I want to make sure that I'm really focused on the trades that I'm taking. Even if I look at the depth of market here, you can see it's kind of blanked out, right? I'm pretty sure that you can change the color of this as well, but there's nothing there. I don't know how much I'm up or down until the end of the day. So one of the easiest things you can do is if you go into chart settings, right, on Sierra charts, if you go into trading over here, you can scroll all the way down, profit and loss format list, right, do not display. So this is one of the easiest ways on Sierra charts to get rid of this, so you're not necessarily looking at this thing. You could even just get rid of this child window altogether, or I guess this attached window altogether, and just keep the DOM up if you trade based on the DOM. Or if you don't trade based on the DOM, even easier, you can just trade on the chart or the footprint without a P&L just glaring at you realistically. I think that a lot of people are so focused on just being profitable, getting profitable. That's their only focus, instead of focusing on how to actually trade your strategy, your system better, and actually improving the step-by-step process, the process that you need to be taking to actually ensure that you have a green P&L. You keep watching that number, it's gonna be tough, right? If you get rid of that number quickly, you're gonna have a much better time. So the second thing, right, that I think people should be focused on is slowing things down. Now, this is a multi-level topic over here that I want to go through. There's a lot to think about in terms of this topic as a whole. What do I mean by slow things down? I think one of the biggest things right now is people are rushing to get profitable. People are rushing to get funded, right? They're rushing to pass evaluations. There's a huge boom that comes out in the prop world of futures trading. And I think that this instills a lot of bad habits for especially newer traders that are treating it more as rushing into things and gambling and trying to really press to get funded and all that. There's a handful of traders that don't do that. They take it step by step, and they are the ones that get paid the most. It's the same thing if you have your own account. The thing is, trading is advertised as this massive industry that you can make millions. Everyone can be rich, Lambos everywhere, everything that you want. You can live in a beach house, whatever the case, whatever your wildest dreams are. That's what's advertised. And I think that people look at it as, okay, I can pretty much start making thousands of dollars a day. How do I do it yesterday? Where I think that the focus has been so pulled away from what's actually important that people rush things and they're looking for immediate gratification instead of understanding the concept of delayed gratification. When you slow things down, number 1, you're going to be focused on the strategy that you have, right? Have a specific strategy. For instance, you guys know that I'm a huge auction market trader. I trade based on order flow as well, right? So a combination of the two. This is a monstrous trade that we took yesterday, I believe. into the overnight session here on NASDAQ, this juicy short setup. And why is that, right? Hey, I'm not trying to do everything and anything all day. I'll take a look at the trades that I took today, and there's only 2 of them. There's a handful. I have this both on the S&P and the NASDAQ. And this took a very, very long time to set up. So I want to have only a specific handful of trades that I take, meaning a handful of strategies, if you will, right? Setups, if you will. And I want to focus on those things. That is the epitome of slowing things down. Because realistically, you're looking at all this movement throughout the day and the evening session, you're like, oh my God, right? There's so much opportunity there. I could have had like 30 trades. I don't care about what's happening outside the regions that I want to trade on, right? So if I'm looking at this, one of my key setups here that I've talked about a lot is a reversal play setup that happens on auctions as well as order flow in itself. We can take a look at the order flow aspect, but one of the biggest things that I'm focused on is seeing how a market actually closes on a session. So if I have this major auction here on the NASDAQ, right, it starts around 7:30-ish, 7:20-ish. I've got this like marker over here. If I have that major auction, the continuation to the upside relies on a close above that, right? So if I'm looking at this major auction and we fail and we close that session below, that for me is a setup for the following day whenever we trade that area that I care about, which in this case is 7:30. If it takes all day, fine. If it doesn't trade, fine. But I'm not trying to chase things or push things forward, because that way I can not only increase my profitability, right, but I can increase my patience in the market and ensuring that I build up my discipline to actually wait for those setups. So this is one of the setups that I like, and it's a very high probability one. I only trade 3 main setups. So those are the ones that I want to focus on, wait for, and look for that kind of continuation realistically. So if I slow things down, I have the ability to wait for those setups and I don't have to get chopped around. You can see there's only 2 trades that I took today based on order flow on the NASDAQ, none on the S&P throughout the session. So what slowing things down means is reducing your trade frequency. I don't necessarily think that the way, of course, it's based on everyone's style and the way that they trade, but I don't think that realistically there's, based on my style, more than 3 to 4 really high probability trades on any given session in the market on average. So maybe 3-ish on the NASDAQ, 3-ish on the S&P per day. So I know if I wait for those setups based on my system, I'll have a higher chance of me actually being successful realistically. So I don't also want to just stare at the screens. Trading is one of those things where more time and more practice doesn't necessarily equate to better results, right? Slowing things down involves you being focused on the right things and the right setup. So of course you need to have a strategy, a built strategy around these things. I think that's priority number 1. But with that, you also don't necessarily want to spend hours and hours and hours doing the wrong things in front of the screens. Rather, you can spend that time reviewing, understanding where you can do the right things, which brings me into the other aspect is that you don't want to strategy hop and jump around all of these hoops when you see maybe your strategy that you've been trading has a 60-70% win rate, which I think is fantastic. It takes away from your focus realistically. It makes you rush things. It doesn't really pull into the frequency of slowing things down. You have to consider different market conditions. Right now in 2025, there are massive expectations of more volatility, right? Trump's now officially president, Tate bombs tweets, so on and so forth. There's volatility to start the year in January to begin with. So the expectation of volatility in 2025, with that, right, you have to really, really buckle down and make sure that you're trading these strategies because it's going to be an easy blowout otherwise. The final thing that I think is of massive importance is review. Review. I cannot stress this enough. I think that this is one of the most talked about, I guess, aspects to trading and trading well that I've continuously brought up when asked about, and it is review. Talking about trade journals, breaking down your trades, what's going on. I've created a little journal breakdown here in our Discord, right? Naturally, I use other things as well, but I think that understanding the trade plan that you've had at the beginning of the day, comparing it to the trades that you had, looking at the P&L obviously at one point, but looking at the trades versus the trade plans, right? So because the trade plans, what I want to do is specific to maybe a handful of different trades on any given day. Was I able to trade those? I think that's a drastically important aspect to really, really zero in on. Review what you're doing well and what you're doing poorly, because at the end of the day, you're not going to get any better if you don't have something concise that breaks down what it is that you've done as a trader, so you can stop making those mistakes and actually improve. There's so many journaling softwares out there and whatnot. And even with this, right, under the topic of review, this is, I don't know, maybe a fourth topic, but under the topic of review, trading demons. This might be one of the most important aspects of this video. I think that everyone's got trading demons within them, and realistically, you got to face them head on. And to face them head on, you have to understand what they are. You can create a list of things of bad habits that you have, right? So for example, revenge trading. Another example is getting into trades right after you closed a trade. Another example is, did you take the trade that was in the plan, right? So if you did, great. But if you didn't take the trade that was setting up, that was in your plan, that honestly is a hesitation and a demon in certain aspects. So listing out demons that you notice within yourself that are stopping you from that profitability, because realistically, a trading strategy and a system, there's so many of them. It's not like there's only one trade mine or trade whoever's. There's so many of them. You can have a positive expectancy, have a very good read and understanding of the market, but the issue is that you as a person internally are stopping yourself, and these demons need to be addressed. So you can create a graphic, a list of all of these demons and break them down. So I got this chart from someone else. It's not mine. It's from Trader Dante on Twitter, so shout out him. And I thought this was a very, very good concept and a good construct of what's going on. This is one of the easiest ways, I think, to tackle those demons as you're reviewing. And he outlines that there are a list, right? I've added some, I've taken away some things that is just a general list. You can add your own or create your own list of demons. And these are some of the examples, right? So realistically, every time that you notice this, you want to pull yourself away and then mark one of the boxes, right? Ideally, that this is within a span of a month. So within a span of the month, in the first week, let's say, you want to be doing weekly, quarterly reviews, daily reviews, naturally. You have to be reviewing constantly. And at the end of the week, you want to see, okay, who's leading here and attack that demon, right? Ideally, in a week span, you haven't hit the max of these. Otherwise, you have to take a big step back and take a look at what it is that you're doing, because you're going to be blowing out constantly over and over and over again. So shout out Trader Dante on Twitter, huge trader. And this concept is vastly overlooked. So not just blind review, taking note of what it is that you've done throughout the session, but actually creating some kind of actionable steps to get better, right? You want to understand what you're doing poorly, what you're doing well, so you can focus on those things. So like I promised, I wanted to make this a concise video. I don't want to elongate it too much. And these three aspects, I think, that can really help transform your trading and you as a trader in 2025. Because every year we got these New Year's resolutions. This year I'm going to be a good trader, XYZ. And then you fall into these pitfalls very easily of your own doing, right? Your demons attack you. You let them win. You don't face them head on. And that turns into a massive cluster F. So if you want more information like this and you want to join a winning team, check out our free Discord at community.tradeproacademy.com and drop a comment down below if you want to see more videos like this, because I got one cooking for, right, something very, very similar in terms of developing as a trader into 2025. So we'll check out that in our next video, and I'll see you guys later.